One of the most common questions that I have as someone who manages ad spend on Meta and produces a high quantity of high performing ad creatives is how to get or how to build a system where you have a high volume of assets, right? Everybody knows that it takes a lot of ads to find a successful winner, or a unicorn ad, as I like to say. And so today we're going to talk about the system that I've used to generate over $200 million for e-commerce and B2B brands and businesses. And so we'll start here at the top. When it comes to performance creative, we want to produce a high volume of assets because it takes a lot of tests to find a unicorn. What is a unicorn? A unicorn is an ad that consistently generates us a profit day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, and in some cases, year in, year out. Ads that you can leave online in your ad account, spending hundreds or even thousands of dollars per day profitably for your business. And the reason or the way that successful businesses scale their ad spend is having multiple unicorns compounding on each other. But to get there, we have to test through a lot of creative. And so we need to develop a system that allows us to do that. There are 3 ways that we can go and get assets produced for our business. Number 1, we can produce the assets ourselves. The con of this, of course, is that it's very time consuming. And you also need to know and understand a lot of different individual skills, right? You need to know graphic design for images and static images. You need to know video editing if you want to edit video content. You need to know direct response marketing so you know how to structure your ad in a way that convinces someone to go and click to your landing page. You need to know how to storyboard a video ad so that it resonates with your target market. And you need to know copywriting so that the copy and the words that someone says on the video is compelling. That's just the basics, but there's more. And it's not easy to do all of this all at once, especially when you're starting from a relatively new position. Maybe you don't have all of these skills. Maybe you have only 1 or 2. It takes time to learn them like anything else. Okay? That said, if you do want to go down the cheapest possible route and produce the assets yourself, here are my recommendations. For images, you can either get a Adobe Creative Cloud subscription, which I think is $20 a month. You can get the Ultimate subscription, which is $50 a month, and that gives you access to all of the Adobe products. But if you just want Photoshop, I think it's $20 a month. Again, I could be wrong about that, and it's subject to change. Or you can get Canva. Canva is a free editor, actually. You can pay for the premium version and get a ton of extra features as well, similar to Adobe. But those two, or choose one of them basically, don't do both. Choose one of these softwares for your image editing, and you can build templates that you can reuse, and it helps with the graphic design skill, okay? Templates save a ton of time. Don't neglect them. And then for videos, if you don't have any skill with video editing, I'd highly recommend you use CapCut. CapCut is a very user-friendly editing software. It allows you to take clips, audio files, music, and it automatically adds captions to your videos, which is really important when it comes to writing and editing direct response video ads. And so if you don't have a good understanding of video editing, I'd highly recommend CapCut. If you do have video editing as a skill, well, you can graduate to a more complex and advanced editing software like Adobe Premiere Pro or Final Cut Pro if you're using a Mac, okay? And these softwares allow additional flexibility. They allow you to do more, but they're also more expensive and they're also more complex and not as user-friendly. And keep in mind, though, when we're editing videos, when we're designing images as well, it needs to be in a direct response fashion. It's a very unique type of video editing, which is very different than, say, creating a commercial for TV or creating a random organic social media post, right? Or writing or editing videos for movies. And so it takes a lot of time to get to that, right? It takes time to meticulously look through the video and make sure that it is direct response. And on average, you're going to be spending 1 to 3 hours for a single video ad. And that's only 30 to 60 seconds long. Okay, with all of that in mind, let's say, I kind of want to pay someone to do this because it's a little tricky. Totally get you. Let's talk about hiring a vendor, someone to work with you and do this for you. Here's what you can expect. If you choose the right vendor, you can expect great quality, which is very important because when we're putting our ad dollars behind something, we want to make sure that it's good quality. And we can expect higher hit rates as a result, a higher chance that an ad is a unicorn and is able to print money for our business, right? And that's because vendors typically specialize in making high-performing ad creative and their direct response, right? But here are the cons, because everything comes with a pro and con. It's not just a A-B equation. Vendors are expensive. You'll typically get a low number or a low volume of assets, but you have to pay a lot. They're also very keen to follow trends, right? And so, for example, maybe one vendor is really, really good at UGC, user-generated content, but they might struggle if you ask them to do an animation or a high-end production type ad. What I'm basically trying to say is that vendors are good, but typically they're only good at what they're good at, if that makes sense. They are not able to do a ton of different stuff really well. They're only able to do maybe 1 or 2 things really well. And because of that, it gets really expensive when you understand that you have to get multiple vendors working for your business in order to create diversity and scale with your ads. And it's also heavy involvement from you as the business owner. It doesn't mean that you just get to put your hands up and walk away from the ad creative conversation. You have to work as a team, and you have to put in the hours manually, or your creative strategist, creative director, whoever it is. Okay, let's talk about the third option, which is hiring a freelancer or an in-house full-time employee, or even a part-time employee. So, compared to hiring a vendor or agency, hiring in-house is more time-consuming in the beginning because you have to train the person. It's their job. You have to, put love and effort into the individual so that they understand your business, they understand your customers, they understand your offer. Plus, you have to go through the entire hiring process. You have to vet candidates, you have to interview them, you have to onboard them. Very time-consuming and expensive process. And they're probably not going to have quite the production value as a vendor for the dollars you put in. Is what it is, right? Vendors are typically going to have more tangible, positive delivery per dollar compared to an in-house resource, right? And so you're also going to have to split the roles into different kind of employees or staff members or freelancers. You can't just hire one person in-house. You have to hire multiple people. You'll need to have a video editor. You'll need to have a graphic designer. You might even need to have a creative strategist if you individually are not good at direct response performance ad creative. You need to have a conductor sitting at the top telling the video editor and the graphic designer what to do. Because it's very rare to find somebody that does everything. And if you do find someone that does everything, they're going to charge you for it. Okay? Here are 3 things to look for when you're trying to hire in-house. Number 1, do they produce good results? Very simple, right? Number 2, and often overlooked, are they coachable? Are they able to take information in and then change their output based on that information? And then number 3, enthusiasm. Are they actually passionate about your business, product, service, and customer base? Okay? All 3 of these are super crucial for anybody that is working inside or with your business. And honestly, you can use these 3 things to vet agencies and vendors as well. The real pro of having an in-house freelancer or in-house full-time specialist, right, is that number 1, over the long period of time, they're going to be able to do more for you rather than, an agency or a vendor that is tied to a monthly retainer. They're incentivized to give you value now, so you don't cancel the retainer. A full-time employee or a freelancer might take a little bit more time to get up to speed because they're only one individual, right? And they're also going to require more time and financial commitment from you as the business owner, but over the long stretch, they typically provide more value to the business, right? It also increases enterprise value. If you're going to sell your business at any point, it is much better to have in-house staff compared to outsourcing all of your acquisition and marketing to agencies. That's just very simple, okay? All right, if you enjoyed this video, if you learned something useful, wherever you're watching this on the internet, go down and click the like button and leave a comment. Let me know what you think. What am I missing in terms of how to produce a high volume of assets, the 3 ways you can do it. Okay, until next time, I will see you. Take care.